What's going on? Welcome back to Breezy Acres. All right, we are on part 2 of installing the electric fence, or electric gate, and electric fence. So in part 1, we hung this new farm gate to go across the driveway. And again, this is to keep in our dogs from running down the driveway after the Amazon drivers. You can see in part 1 how we hung this gate. But today we're doing part 2, which is installing this Topens or Topens or Topens, I'm not sure how you pronounce their name, electric gate opener. And it's going to be solar powered. I'm going to be using their 30-watt solar panels, and then it's going to have these two 12-volt batteries that are going to be hooked in parallel, I think, to make 24 volts. We also got this electric gate latch so we can keep the gate closed and the dogs can't push it open. And then we got a couple of remotes, and I actually have a couple more too, so I can keep one on the tractor. And then we got the control box and the arm to open it, and then the miscellaneous hardware. So I could run electric if I wanted to, because I do have electric over here at the horse shelter, but then I gotta trench a line in here, and it's probably just cheaper to do it off the solar anyway. The next step is to figure out how we want to mount the gate opener. So I have to have our gate swing open to the outside like this, because our driveway is a little bit on a slope, so I can't have it swing in this way, because then it's going to hit the driveway when it tries to open. And the second thing is now deciding on whether we want to have it push open or pull open the gate. So if we have it push open, we got to mount it on this side. Now what I don't like about that is, number one, I got to mount the arm to this beam here, and it's not going to be easy with the mesh on here. And number two is, it's a 14-foot gate, but when you have it mounted, it's I don't know, it's about 13.5 feet. So that's already a pretty tight fit for big trucks. So if you put the arm on this side, that means it's going to stick out even farther. And I'd prefer not to have that and have a big truck rip it off the gate. So if we swing the gate closed here, if we put it on this side, then at least it's going to be protected by the gate here when it does open, and it gives you a little bit more clearance on the gap between the gate and the post. And then if you're wondering too what this gap is for, this is actually, I'm going to make a wooden man gate so that you can just open that when you're walking up and down the driveway without having to make sure you're carrying around a remote for the electric gate. And then again, from here through the forest, about 450 feet, we're going to put electric fence to kind of discourage the dogs from running down the driveway. All right, looking at the manual here, there's this big chart here with a lot of measurements, and it seems pretty complicated. It just seems more complicated than it needs to be. So I watched another video, and he seemed to do it a little simpler, so we're gonna just use the method I saw in the other video. So we're gonna take these two brackets here, find our hardware, and then there's two of these brackets. One's for push to open, one's for pull to open. We're using pull to open. So we're gonna take that. It's this one here. This through the middle. That. The washer. Lock washer. Bolt. And I think we're gonna just leave it straight for now. smaller washer for that. So this here is adjustable depending on where you need to put it on your gate. That doesn't seem like the right washer. Maybe there is not a lock washer for that one. And then you got to buy my gate closed. So we need to take the little key here that they give you. And then I've already done this, but you just turn it 90 degrees. Like it shows on the rubber seal here. 90 degrees to release it. And then you can pull the shaft out. And then we're gonna just stick this in here for now. This little bracket on here with the clamp for now. And I'll just set this on here. So, check for level. Right about there. And we'll mark in the middle. Now that'll give us roughly where we need to mount this to be right in the middle. Alright, I'm gonna just kind of mount this right in the center of my post. Right about there. And these do have oval holes on this bracket, so I'm gonna go right in the middle so I can just adjust it up and down if I need to. For me, the hardware that came with these, the bolts are going to be just a little bit too short. So instead of going to buy new ones, I'm just going to bore that out a bit. That should give me enough space for the washers now. Okay, so I got it set up kind of temporary here, just so I can see if I can open and close it, and whether or not my measurements are even close to being right. Okay, so that's a problem. Not opening far enough. After monkeying around with it for a while, I couldn't find a hole that would line up exactly where I wanted it, because originally I had the beam pushed out right this way, but it wouldn't let me open it far enough. So I ended up having to drill a hole, because you can see there's spots here where you could still drill other holes just to get it fine-tuned a little better. So now open it all the way to about here. A little over 90 degrees it looks like. So that should be good. Before I mount this in here permanently, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the wire through and we'll mount all the electronics so that we can at least test it just to make sure before we drill holes into the gate. Just opening this up, and you just got to be careful when you're opening it because the wire is attached in there. So to feed that up, you got to unloosen these, and that'll let you get a slack so you can kind of push it through. It says these yellow and red ones go to the battery, which is labeled here, plus it's labeled under each terminal block there as well. Now I just got to run the wire from the actuator into here and then hook it up, looks like, onto these terminals here. So this enclosure is waterproof, and you can just mount it on here, which I'm going to do now, but I'm currently trying to figure out if I can find a box that I can house this plus the batteries in it. So, but for now we're just going to mount it up here. That should do her. And right now the gate is closed, so that's as long as the wire is gonna be. I may have put this up too high. Reach. Oh, just barely. It's like I planned it that way. Alright. Oh, we're gonna feed this through the grommet. Again, we're gonna loosen this right off. There we go, so that's all hooked up, and we're not using any of the other stuff, but we should be able to put this back on. And I'm just going to use a few of these black clips. I don't know where you get them from. I get them from work, so, but you can use these too, these tie traps with a hole in it so you can screw it to the wall. These you can find at the hardware store. Alright, so we're going to assemble the solar kit now. So I got the 30-watt one. You don't really need that. You can get the 20-watt one, it'd be fine. And then I ended up getting the 30-watt one because for some reason on Amazon 30 watts was cheaper than the 20-watt one. So you get the solar panels, 3 of them, 10 watts each, I'm guessing. And then you got your charge controller and your wires to hook everything up together, and then the brackets to assemble the 3 panels together. So it looks kind of tedious. There's a whole bunch of screws here, so I'll probably do that really quick here. And then we'll come back when I got it back together. Alright, I got this thing assembled. Now, it's kind of a mess of wires, but I got it all wired up, parallel wiring for that, and this has to be mounted onto the pole first, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll mount that onto the panel. Now, this actually didn't come with any screws or anything to bolt it to the pole, so I'm using some small lag bolts because I want to make sure this thing stays on, because we get some pretty good wind around here. Okay, I have to say, I think this is my least impressive part of this whole operation. This little metal bracket's supposed to keep this thing stable in wind. I don't think so. I think I'm going to end up having to make another bracket that goes from here to this side to help stabilize it a little bit. Alright, I had to make this temporarily just to keep the batteries in there so they don't get rained on until I can find something better for it. So now I'm just putting some spade connectors on the charge controller here, and we're gonna take this, mount it in the back here, and then we got the wires here to hook up, and the batteries will sit here. Man, I had to move all of this stuff down because I forgot I had that gate latch, and I measured out the wire here and it was not gonna reach where I needed it to reach. So I'm gonna have to do the gate latch later. So here's the gate latch wire, so now it's gonna be long enough. But I can't do the gate latch because it doesn't come with U-bolts to mount it to the gate. I guess they figure you're just gonna have to get that stuff yourself. So, and they don't know what kind of gate it's gonna be hooked up to. It could just be a wooden one for all they know. So yeah, I'll have to get some U-bolts for that. We'll do that another day. We're almost getting ready to program it. I got the batteries here, so these batteries have to be hooked up in series, so it's pretty easy. Just put a jumper from one negative to the other one's positive, and then you can just run positive and negative, hook it up to a multimeter, and it shows 25 volts, so that's good. So let's get these put in that little box. So on the charge instructions there, it says connect sequence, connect battery, then connect the load, which is the gate, and then connect to the solar panel. So I have the solar panel ones connected here already, just not up at the actual panel. And I gotta put a little black tape on them because I don't have any insulated crimps, so for now we're just gonna use those. We'll get this red positive one on first, onto the battery. Yeah, which is the battery one there. I don't know if this is a Chinese thing or what, but I don't know why their negative terminals are yellow. Most of the time I see stuff, especially for DC voltage, it's usually black is negative. Should see this light up once we hook the black one up. We'll tape this one up first. Alright, tuck that in there. Yeah, it's hard to see in there, but we do have a battery light that just turned on, so let's hook these ones up for the load. And we'll do the solar one. And we can see now we got a flashing solar. So flash slowly means what? Okay, hold on. So for solar, flash once per second means it's 100% charge. Flash once per 3 seconds, 50% charge. So it looks like it's just basically fully charged already because we already saw the batteries were at 25 volts, so they're pretty much full. All right, on to the programming. Okay, so we're gonna program the remote here. It says to push the code SW button, which is this one here. Now that's lit up where it says code, and then press this. Okay, so that's supposed to be working now. So it says now we have to set this limit switch, which tells how far open and closed for it to go. So it says to start with it in the fully closed position, or fully retracted position. So that's open on my gate. And I'm assuming that they want us to now lock this before we do this. So otherwise I don't think the motor will do anything. So we're in that position. We also just want to double check here the dip switches on the board. So number one is for push pull. Mine's set to off, which is for pulling open, which is what I have. Auto close we can turn on later if we want to. So, and then 3 photo cell I do not have. So we should be good. Well, it's closing. Cool. Ooh, not quite far enough yet. So that means we have to probably do the limit switch here. So it said to move it outward if it didn't close far enough, so I slid it this way farther and tightened it down. Ooh, not far enough. Alright, I fiddled around with this. Good thing I didn't bolt it all the way down, so I moved this slightly over. Now it seems to close all the way up to there. So now we'll see how far it opens. Okay, it looks like it goes right about 90 degrees. So I'm pretty happy with that. It goes parallel with my driveway, so I think we should be good. Alright, so it looks like it's pretty much right here in the middle. I'm going to do the holes right in the middle so I can still adjust it side to side if I have to. Luckily it looks like it's right between the mesh, so that's good. Got a stepper bit here that we can use to make it bigger. Let's see roughly how big we gotta go. Right up to there. Just gonna mark on here so I know how far to go. So I just kind of measured, I don't know if you saw that. So we're just kind of measured how wide this is, and then I just put some marks on how far to go up to. Well, maybe one more. Here's in here. Now when you tighten these, I wouldn't tighten them too hard, because this is just a thin wall. installed pipe, so it's going to be pretty easy to crush it. And we're just going to kind of snug them up. Little hands for this. Pop the pin back in. Woo! I don't always have to make these so hard. Awesome. All right, I think that's it. We just gotta tidy up and on to step number 3 of this electric fence, electric gate thing. And so we'll see you in the next video. We'll be talking.